Hey YouTube, it's Jurracmaster, and this is kind of the return of Jurrac talk. I know it's been a while since I've done one of those, and for a lot of my kind of newer subscribers, if you don't know what that is, it's just kind of when I talk about strategy or certain things in the game, and just how to play better, really, which is kind of the reason for my channel, is to help you guys get better at playing and learn how to play Jurracs and now Evils better. And, do whatever else on my channel that I think you guys might enjoy. But the main thing is to help you guys get better. So, first thing that I want to talk about here is consistency and explosiveness. So, those are two elements of Yu-Gi-Oh! That I think are really the two big elements of a deck. If your deck is really explosive, you're going to play really conservatively until you can make one big push for game, or you're going to be able to explode once or twice a duel, and that's going to be your main win condition. You want to explode and either win right there, or have it be in such a way that you'll be in a good position to win when the time comes. So, by that I mean, if you were to explode with a big play, and you want to be able to cover yourself from something like, I don't know, Battle Fader or something. So, setting up stuff like monsters that put you in control, such as Stardust and whatnot, that make it harder for your opponent to just get around whatever you have for them. So you don't want to just overextend into a dark hole after a Battle Fader. It's kind of what I'm saying there. So, consistency and explosiveness are really the two things that I think are important in a deck. So you can have one or the other. I think Jurracs are a really consistent deck that have the ability to just kind of beat people down. They have good field advantage. They're overall a pretty good deck. I mean, I know they're not really a top deck or anything, partly because people don't give them enough effort because they just tag on these big tour guide and Tengu and plants and anything that dominates the format, like Agents, Dark Worlds. They just jump onto that instead of putting time into other decks like Jurracs. I'm thinking about trying to go to the next regionals that's close to me, and I'll see how I do with just my Jurrac build. Not Evils, not any variant of Jurracs, just my Jurracs. See how they do. That's something I've been interested in doing for a while, but there hasn't really been a locals near me, and that's been the reason I haven't done it. So, consistency is something you'll see in Jurracs. It's really good, but if you get way too far behind, you might have trouble getting back on top. And that's something that explosiveness will do in a deck. You'll be able to explode, but if you don't win when you explode, it's really easy for you to lose control and never get back in control. But then again, if you're way behind, you can just explode and take the lead. So, consistency and explosiveness kind of cover each other's weak points, and they don't diminish each other's strengths. So, that's why decks that I've created, such as my Jurrac Rabbit deck, the Rescue Rabbits, and Jurracs and stuff. Here, let me just switch that around. That's why decks like that work. They have the ability to just explode into an evil Czar with the rabbits, but, well, no, it wouldn't be into an evil Czar in that deck build itself. It would be into, just any rank 4 or rank 3, or into a lot of plays like this into a Leviair, grab this back and make a 4, I don't know, a rank 4, stuff like that. Plays like that are really useful, and I just find that a deck like that has a lot of potential, but it's not really a deck that I've put all that much time into. I've put a lot of time into it, don't get me wrong, but Jurrac Rabbit is not a deck that I've really played at a tournament or anything like that. So, it's a fun deck though. You guys should give it a try if you have rabbits. I know another play is this into 2000 beaters and then make Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon out of that. Stuff like that works. I don't know. But this deck build seems to work pretty well. And it's a deck that is an example of combining consistency and explosiveness. So if a deck can do that efficiently, if it's consistent and has the ability to explode, but where the exploding won't really hurt you if it goes away. So what by that I mean, you'll be safe if they stop it, or if they absolutely destroy your field. You should, in this case, not even lose your field, because you should have things to cover it. You should at least retain something, such as my Forbidden Lances do in my decks. They used to cover my Giganotos back when synchroing was the main thing behind my Jurracs. But now that the Evil Zars are out, those things are a little bit more of a focus in my decks. Another deck that has that ability to kind of explode, but is also consistent, is another deck that uses Jurracs. It's Jurrac Evil. I know I didn't initially like this deck. I've kind of grown to like it. It's just not my favorite. I know it's a pretty good deck, and a lot of you guys might want to play it, but I just like playing straight up Jurracs or straight up Evils. It's just a little more fun for me. But I'm going to give it a shot at a tournament at some point, because I am happy, because I think that this deck does a great job of being consistent yet explosive. I mean, they're two separate engines that are consistent and explosive respectively, but that's helpful because you can just sit on one engine and be consistent, and then at any point you need to, you can just explode off of the Evils. So, you guys, if you don't know, what that would do is the Evils are the explosive one, the Jurracs are the consistent one. Evils, they kind of just, once they get their whole Westlow and Volcano thing working, Serato is kind of to get that going. Once that happens, then they're a pretty explosive deck. You can just keep dropping more and more Volcanos and more Evil tiles to get Volcanos. And it'll just work out in your favor, because you'll be dropping rank 4s and Evil Zars like nothing. And the Evil Zars are just absolute menaces of control. They just control the duel completely. It's really hard if you can set up the right Evil Zar against the right deck. Like, say, a Dolka with a Lance or two in the back row and maybe a Solemn Warning. That's all you're going to need. Maybe Solemn instead of Solemn Warning. Yeah, probably Solemn. I'm going to have to say a Lance, a Bribe, and a Solemn, or a Solemn Warning would absolutely shut down people if you had just one Dolka out. Really, really, really good for controlling the game. Stops a lot of decks. It's really just impressive what that thing can do. So, I've said that the main focus of my channel was to help you guys get better at Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, here's a section of the talk on how to improve your playing ability. One thing I found to be very helpful in my past is that I used to play a lot of different decks. I'd be into a deck for a few weeks, play it, and then get rid of it for a new one. I know that's probably not the best thing to do, but I found it fun. I could afford to do it because I didn't really have to invest much in the next deck. I'd just get rid of that one for the next one, however I needed to do that. So, I found that helping me, because I knew a lot of decks, I knew a lot of different cards, I knew your strategy when I was playing with you. So when you were trying to go for your combo, I knew what your combo was, so I knew what to negate, when to negate, and when to let things go. I knew if it wasn't your best play, and I knew if it was your best play, so I knew when to stop it or when to not stop it. That's always been one thing that's been really helpful, is just my background playing so many decks. And the cool thing now is there's Dueling Network, so you can hop on Dueling Network and just maybe once a week play a new deck, and try to perfect that deck over the course of the week or two, and move on to a new one and start building your background in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's very helpful. And back to kind of consistency and explosiveness, one thing is you need to know situationally when to explode and when to play safe. So when you want to explode is kind of, here are the main conditions. If you have the means to win with backup if you're stopped, so by that I mean if you explode and part of it gets stopped, you need to be able to defend yourself, and you have to have a plan B. You can't just exhaust your entire hand, and if you get stopped by one card, your whole strategy just goes away, and you basically lose the duel. That's just inconsistent playing. You want to be able to win consistently. Explosiveness is not necessarily inconsistency. It's the ability to go off quickly and reverse a game or further secure the lead. But it does have a tendency to use up a lot of your hand and field presence just to get those monsters out. So what you want to be able to do is have a way to back yourself up, or have a consistent engine in there, such as the Jurrac Rabbit and Jurrac Evils I've gone over. Another thing is you'll have to explode if it's your only chance to win. So that's kind of obvious. Even if you can't protect yourself, if you only have that one shot at winning, go for it. Do whatever you can to win. Make sure you do it smart, but do it however you need to. Another thing is when the opponent can't stop you. So, they might have a Battle Fader, they might have an Effect Veiler, stuff like that, but if you can get off a Heavy Storm and their monsters aren't going to do anything to you, just go off. Make sure that if they have a Battle Fader or Effect Veiler, that it's not really going to be a huge deal to you, but just go ahead and try if they don't really have the means to stop you from exploding, because that's when you're going to be able to set up all your stuff, like in my case, Evils are Lagia and Evils are Dolka. Those things will just set up my field, and I'll have a couple back row. And, what are they going to do? I can stop them anything once with Lagia, I can stop effects with Dolka, and I've got a couple back row to back them up. So I don't see much that they're going to be doing against me when I've got a setup as good as that. So that's another time you want to go off. When to play safe is kind of when the game control is even. So if both players have about the same control over the duel as each other, that's when you want to slowly build up your control and make sure that you have the means to stop the opponent from gaining any control. That's kind of playing it safe. And, if you're unsure of your opponent's next move or your opponent's options, so if they look like they have a lot of options, like they've got a big field presence and they've got a big hand, you don't want to risk messing up and letting them gain the edge on you that you can't, or you might not be able to win back from them. That's a very risky move. And as I said, if it's really the only hope you have, go for it. But other than that, watch out for what moves you make. You don't want to regret it. So there are some things to consider when playing Yu-Gi-Oh! There's just a few questions you can ask yourself when you're thinking about what move to make, such as, am I overextending? If you are, think about whether it's smart to do so at the time. Can I defend myself if this fails? So if you're going to make a big move and it were to fail, or they were to stop it some way, or delay it for a turn, would you be able to defend yourself, or are they just going to be able to go nuts on you and win? Or at least reverse the control of the game. You don't want to do that, especially if you're starting with control. You always want to play it safe, stuff like that. If you have the control, and there's a chance that if you try to overextend, then they'll stop you or gain control themselves. That's one thing you really want to know when to do and when not to do. So another thing to consider is, how many options do I have? If you have a lot of options, consider the best one, and consider the one that's going to be the best one at the same time as being the safest. You don't want to mess things up. That's one thing that's really bad, is when your plan goes wrong and you lose because you don't have any options after that fails. Also, another thing to consider is, am I leaving enough cards in my hand, and also, do I have enough support on the field? You want to have a good balance at all times of cards in your hand and cards on your field. So, I mean, you gotta know, it's gotta be balanced. You have to have probably 2 or 3 cards in the back row that are going to support you. I mean, if they've used their heavy storm already, that's even better. Just use however many you need in the back row. But you need something for spells and traps, something for monsters, and something like a lance for situationals. For them, whatever they need to do, you need to have just kind of one card there for something like that. That's why I use bribes, solemns, warnings, all that stuff. Just anything to help me stay in control or stop enemies from using their explosive move and making them lose their control because they're not playing as I've kind of advised you guys to play in this video, which is really just playing smart. So I hope this helped you guys out. I know it's been a long video, I've been talking for a while, and you guys haven't gotten to see many cards. I'll just throw my rabbits out here just because they're cool to look at. You know, that's really all I can say about how to improve your game for right now. I might think of stuff later, but it's already been a long enough video. So, really do hope it helped you guys out. And now, here at the end, I know it's long enough already, but I want to throw one more thing out there. A long time ago, I made a challenge to duelists video, and I really want to apologize to you guys. I really fell through on that. So I'm reopening that, but what I'm probably going to do is every Sunday I'm going to post the video for the challenge that I select to do that week. And instead of having one video where I have to go back to it, find a comment, and do that again for another video, I'm only going to make the next challenge that I'll do the next Sunday, one that's listed in the comments of that Sunday's video. And occasionally I might give you guys a challenge to try to push you guys, and maybe I'll feature your video or your duel on my channel and add some commentary to that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and for any of you guys that don't know what the challenge to duelist video was, it's that you have to set a restriction on my playstyle, my deck build, whatever, and I have to try to win with that deck. So I want it to be a challenge, don't go overboard, but make it something interesting that you guys want to see me duel with, and don't underdo it either, like some people saying make a light sworn deck that only uses 4 light sworns. I mean, that was an interesting idea, but I could easily work around that because Judgment Dragon and everything on top of a few of the good light sworn, that's not really a problem, because then I'll just throw in support for those, and some dark monsters, probably make it chaos. It's not a hard deck to make right now, but make sure it's interesting. I mean, one that I came up with, it's not even a limit on the deck. It's win with over 8,000 life points and get as high as you can get in that duel. And you can't try to stall, because stalling is slow-paced and annoying, and obviously you're going to build up a lot of life points if you can stall out the game when you have a life point gaining engine. So something like that. That's probably one you guys will see for a challenge from me to you guys in the future, so I'll give you a head start working on that. That'll probably be my first challenge issued to you guys, but give me a good challenge in the comments below. I'd like to get that one done this Sunday and start that up as a weekly thing on my channel. So thanks for watching, guys. Sorry it's such a long video, but I hope it helped, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, and have a nice day.